Man, dude, we are just 2 days away from the new record. Die About It, man. It's your second record with the band now.
Yep.
And dude, listen, this is a completely different Bad Wolves than what people might be used to, I feel like. And this record is so diverse. There's so much going on with it, and no two songs sound the same, man. How are you guys feeling about this record right now?
We couldn't be happier, honestly. I think we made an album that we believe in, and at the end of the day, we made an album that we love. And so I think with that being said, our job is pretty much not done, but like
Mhm.
in my mind, I'm happy. You know what I mean? If us being artists and us being musicians, like that's what I strive for anytime that I'm making music. Is it's just I want to make sure that I'm a fan of it first and foremost. So I think once you're once you're happy and satisfied with the art that you create, like everything beyond that is just the cherry on top. It's just extra. So like if it's received well and people like it and come along with us for the ride, and that's all great and extra. And I'm just super happy that the band is in a place where we have no rules when it comes to creating. We have no rules as a band. Obviously, like we have um, not so much a formula, but sonically, there's going to be something that you expect from a Bad Wolves album,
Mhm.
whether it's like the kind of hyper production or like the clanky guitars. Like sonically, there's something that gets carried on
Yeah.
throughout all the Bad Wolves albums. But with this one, it was just we went into it uh, with no expectations, and we absolutely went into this album writing and making a mission statement of having no rules. So like you know, if and that kind of lends itself when you listen to the album. We
Yeah.
there's pop songs, there's metal songs, there's everything in between. There's light, there's heavy, there's saxophones, there's violins,
Oh,
there's
yes.
so we really wanted to experiment, and that's kind of the beauty of the modern age of production. Is like, you know, we're not just staring at a clock in some expensive studio. Um, you know, there's no you're kind of unlimited in terms of the production, because everybody kind of goes into their own corner, has their own home studios, and if you spend a day on something and it's just something really wacky that you just want to try out, let's say the sax thing didn't work out or something, what did we do? We spent a day on it and it sucks, and we throw it in the trash. It's not a big deal. So
Right.
we're not really precious with our material at this point because of modern production.
Right. And then talking about no rules, man, the song you're talking about is NDA, and that's like three songs in one, man. They use changed styles on that song two or three times. And you mentioned the saxophone. Then the beginning of the song, it almost has like an 80s pop rock vibe. And then you go into your what you would expect from Bad Wolves, but it works though. Like you change it up so much, the saxophone works. The 80s pop rock vibe works. And then you throw in this style we all know, the song just works, and it's one of my favorite songs on the record.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Um,
that actually the interviews that I've been doing, that song gets brought up a lot, and I think
oh,
you can kind of lend how eclectic this new Bad Wolves album is, just for the simple fact that it's just all of our influences. Honestly, you
mhm.
know, we're every dude in the band, like we all have like commonalities. We there's certain bands that we all listen to, that we all love, and then there's certain bands that, like, you know, Doc says he's been listening to this and none of us even know what it is. Like, so we all have extensive influences, and that spans many different genres. And I think just because of the music that we love and we listen to, we bring that into our own art as an influence, and it
Mhm.
just kind of, that's just what you're gonna get from a Bad Wolves album nowadays.
Yeah.
It's a very eclectic journey of an album.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there's kind of, I don't want to say like an expectation, but like something that you a sound that a Bad Wolves album just kind of has. One thing I've always loved is you guys have a really good balance between the heavy stuff and the ballads. And dude, this song or this record, yeah, you blew any ballad you guys have done ever out of the water, whether it's Zombie or Sober. Dude, it's you. is my favorite Bad Wolves song so far. It's close between Legends Never Die and It's You for my favorite so far, but
I love it.
It's You blows me away. The vocal dynamic between you and Killboy is amazing. And I feel like this song is your way of showing what your voice can really, really, really do.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. And I do feel the same way about that track. Not so much because we wrote it or the song, but it shaped into something I think bigger than the band in terms of like having Killboy guest on it and her voice. Like we loved it from the get go. There was obviously a
Mhm.
version that I sang the whole thing, but once she got her vocals recorded on it, and we started chopping them up and kind of figuring out who takes what part, and we finally got to hear like her voice and my voice layered. Um, it was just like it gave all of us goosebumps how well it
Me
worked.
too.
Yeah,
Me
awesome.
too.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm just and I'm like super grateful that I get to work with people that are that talented. Like she's such a amazing singer, and she elevated that track for sure, and we're super proud of it. That's actually a song that collectively as a group we talk about that song a lot, especially after the fact, after she did her vocals and stuff. That was one of the last things that we actually finished up on the album,
Wow.
believe it or not. And so that was like, I don't know if it was just because it was like the shiny new toy, like we were already kind of burnt on all the other songs, and like we
Mhm.
finished this one, and it felt so special that as a group collectively we talk about it a lot, and we'd love to do like I think we want to make it a single and maybe do a video for it
Yes.
or something.
Oh,
It just kind of sounds like one of those songs. So
it does. It does. And it's one of my favorite lyric lines, not just for you guys, but of all time. The
oh
napalm bomb
yeah, man.
colliding with a hand grenade. Oh my God. Like, dude, yes, it's that's gonna be the dark horse song of this record. I feel like that's gonna blow up. I really feel like it's going to.
I love that.
And then obviously Legends Never Die, man, is probably one of the strongest singles you guys have put out. And the pro wrestling company I work with, we've even talked about trying to use it on a video package for a match or a show. It's such a good song. And that the second verse of that song gives me goosebumps when it kicks in too, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
Well,
the big single right now too.
yeah, that's actually one of the songs. Um, Funny enough that was one of the first. It was in the first group of songs that was ended up being the collection of songs for Die About It. So like that one kind of holds a special place in my heart, just because that was kind of one of the first ones that was it kind of set a standard for the rest of the record, and
Yeah,
it even though it kind of seemingly seems like a pretty simple arrangement, simple riffs, it's kind of not once you kind of like peel back the layers and you hear what's
yeah,
going on in the song and you hear the riffs and stuff. And it really it made us it made me so happy because it was it's not just like a good song, it's an anthem. And
it is.
I think that that's really something that everybody can kind of relate to and hold on to, because
Mhm.
that the message in that song obviously is not just people that have passed away or former sports figures or whatever. It's everything. Like it's, you're everybody has the legends in their life. It's your grandparents, it's your parents, it's
Yeah.
your siblings. So I think that that's
Mhm.
just a very important song on this album and in the Bad Wolves catalog in general.
Yeah, I'm really hoping WWE doesn't beat us to that one because we really want to use that
And
song down
I
the
hope
road.
I hope everybody uses that song.
Oh, I hope they do too.
I
That's
just
a
want to hear
perfect
it
war
everywhere.
games, boxing, UFC, NFL. I
Yeah,
hope
man.
everyone uses it. Yes,
Sure.
it's dude, it gives me goosebumps, man. I wanted to ask you, and with this being your second record with the band, was there a different feel going into this record than there was the first one? I mean, obviously the situations are different, but did this record feel different for you going in?
Yeah.
Just personally.
Yeah, like a million percent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I joined the band. The band was they were I mean they were about halfway into the writing process on Dear
Okay.
Monsters when I joined, and because of the member change and because of like everything that was going on,
Yeah.
Um, it seemed like a pretty turmoil filled time of the band when I first joined. So
Mhm.
I didn't really get like a chance to take it all in. We just kind of
It was very fast.
yeah,
It was fast.
we hit the ground running, and it was like
Yeah.
this breakneck pace. We tracked the album, and shortly after we're on tour with Papa Roach, and like this is coming from like a dude that A hasn't toured since 2010 in me,
Mhm.
and B like I never had really an intention of being in a band again. And
Yeah.
C, I never had the intention of being the fucking singer frontman of a band. So like all of these things combined with the breakneck speed of coming into the band and finishing Dear Monsters with them and stuff, it was just kind of a crazy time, and I never really got to appreciate or even like get used to what was going on, because it's just like kind of learn on the job, just go go go. And this time around it was the complete opposite of that, where now I'm going on to my fourth year. Crazy to even say this, but I'm yeah, in January it'll be going on to the fourth year of me being in Bad Wolves. And this time around I was just able to co-produce it with Josh Gilbert and John, and from the ground up, from the first song to the last song, we it came through my desk, it went through across John's and Josh's, and um lyrically, thematically, the artwork, it's just like this is kind of my baby.
Mhm.
And I finally, because of that, because of being able to be so hands-on and so involved from the first song, I'm just so much more naturally, I'm so much more attached and married to this album, because this is just like it feels like a rebirth for the band in a way.
It does. And are you playing some guitar on this record too? Because there was
Yeah, man.
another member change with this record too, but not a new member coming in. So did you kind of pick up the slack playing guitar on this one as well then?
Yeah. A little. That's kind of what I meant in terms of like co-producing and stuff. Like
Okay.
there's some songs that I wrote drum parts. There's some songs
Okay.
that I wrote riffs. There's some solo stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like at the end of the day, I had a hand in a little bit of everything. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. I just feel like this record, the Dear Monsters, was a great record and obviously a great, really kind of return for the band and debut for you. But I feel like this record just feels more complete. And it's like this is you guys are more comfortable and all that. Not that the Dear Monsters wasn't, but this song, this record just the heavy songs are heavier, but balanced with the clean and unclean vocals a lot more than previous records were. And the ballads are stronger as well. The songs are just so there's no filler. The whole thing's good.
all
Like,
killer, no filler, baby. That's right.
yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, I loved all of the previous records. This is the quintessential Bad Wolves record. I feel like if somebody needs to hear what you guys are all about, this is the album you show them.
Maybe it'd be nice to, like in a perfect world, I hope that people new to Bad Wolves start with this one and work their way
Yes.
back.
That's a good way to put it.
Be cool.
It is. Yes, there's not a there's not a, and even the rapping vocals on Die About It
Yep.
are just you go straight from a killer intro that catches you off guard to just every song is different. They don't all sound the same. You guys killed it.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
So,
and I think that's a statement that we always want to make as a band, and we want Bad Wolves to be a very inclusive act. You know what I mean? And I think
yeah.
that shows shows now more than ever at our live shows, where like you see babies, you see kids, you see grandparents, and like everybody in between. Like we just want it to be like a family event. Like I know that there's we swear a lot, we curse like sailors, we do our thing, and like it's a heavy metal band at its core, but we really just want it to be something for everybody. And I think that um that's important, and it's kind of a statement that our fans are bigger than the band, really.
Yes. And obviously hitting the road. What, next week you guys are going out?
Yeah, we start rehearsals Monday, and then straight from rehearsals we have a string of headlining dates to get us out to the first Bush show, and then we
Mhm.
we do the full U.S. tour, and some Canada dates. It's us, Ava Under Fire, which is also our label mates. They're
Yep.
amazing band. Us and Bush, and I'm so excited. I haven't listened to Bush in a little while, honestly, but the second I heard that we were doing this tour, I was a huge fan of Bush growing up.
Mhm.
Probably like more so than I even talk about, but now because we're doing this tour, I started digging back into them, and like I just fell in love with that band, their back catalog, and
Yes.
that kind of like forced me to um going on the Spotify. It kind of like forced me to listen to their new stuff too, and like, man, those guys have aged like a fine wine. Like
Yeah.
they're just as good of a band now as they were in the
Yeah.
90s. So it's cool. It's humbling to be able to tour with such like iconic rock bands. Like I never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be doing this. So
Yeah, I just saw Bush last year with Alice in Chains and Breaking Ben, and they're just as good now. Like they sound
uh,
so good live, man. You're gonna love those guys live. They're so good.
yeah. And I mean, of
Oh,
course, I'm obviously excited to get out there and make it all about Bad Wolves and play our new stuff and all that. But I'm actually more so excited to watch Bush every night, honestly.
man, that's what's great about tour, man. That's what's it's just, and obviously next year festivals and 2024 is right around the corner. Anything you can tell us about what 2024 might be looking like? Obviously, the record's out now, in a couple days, so I'd assume you guys are going to hit the ground running all the way through next year as far as shows and tours.
Yeah. I think hopefully, that's not up to us to decide,
Right.
but we're gonna stay as busy as possible, play a lot of shows, and because of who we are, and the creative minds that we have, I'm sure that it's ridiculous to even talk about new material, but like there's always going to be some kind of new material coming out from Bad Wolves. So I mean, probably even shortly after, we put our record out, there's a lot of stuff that we wrote. We wrote so much music for Die About It. It's almost like absurd. So,
Nice.
and it's not to say that it wasn't good enough. I think at the end of the day, we just like wanted to carve out what went together perfectly for the album, and there's so much stuff that we might revisit sooner than later. There's still some B-sides that people might hear on the back
Yep.
end of the album and stuff too. So yeah, Bad Wolves is going to be pretty busy in the new year.
Well, that's the good thing about the digital age, I guess, is even though a record might be out, you can continue to release singles on their own without a record coming out to for it to go on. You just release a single and send it to Octane, Liquid Metal, radio, you
Totally.
anything, and fans find it right away. And
Yeah.
if it's anything like this stuff, man, I can't wait to hear it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Dude, thank you for being patient with everything at the beginning, man. And I want to thank you for taking time to talk to me. I've really been looking forward to this.
Bro,
So
anytime. Thank you so much for having me. I like really enjoy doing these interviews.
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm pretty crappy at social media, and like
Me
this
too.
this is a good way for me to meet new people and have these conversations. So
That's
anytime
awesome.
that you want somebody from the Bad Wolves on here, you holler, and we'll be there in a minute. And I appreciate everything that you guys do for the band. And
Oh, absolutely, man. And I'll be coming out to a show somewhere along the line. We'll have to do this in person down the road at a show.
yeah,
So
I would love that. I owe you a beer.
awesome, man. Oh, don't tell me that. I'll take you up on it. So
All right.
awesome, man. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy the album release, man. Live it up and breathe it in, take it in, man. I can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you so much. Die About It, November 3rd.